Yep, I hear you. I hear you. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, warshippers of all ages, welcome to Game 1. It's the grand finals of Warship Masters Invitational 2024. Zaf, TWA and Rain, it feels like we've been here before. What do we got cooking for the TWA lineup in green?
TWA is bringing with them British in the Z52. I'm not surprised to see that at all with a bit of that torpedo stuff we saw before. We got Vile 9 in the Yu Yang with a smoke setup there. Kaistis in a Yoshino. Behind him is Kinimod in an Annapolis. Finally, we've got Umugu in a Goliath with outnumbered. Point is in his Brisbane with full reload build and utility as well. You can see the consumable specialist and enhancement skills. And then Marcelo Pello in a Jinan. TWA is basically choosing not to bring a battleship at all. Marcelo Pello with some luck chuck torpedo skills with the quicker torpedo reload, and also going for main battery gun damage and extra fire chance and enhanced survivability expert. So trying to get as much out of that cheap ship as possible. 7 points for Marcelo Pello.
Cheapest ship on the board. We'll have to see if Marcelo can get some value out of it. Rain in red here, bottom end of the map, fielding World Spone's Z52. Not quite the same build as we're seeing on the other side of the map. A little less torpedo reload. Intaro's Holland, unique upgrade, concealment, and a little bit of torpedo power there in his build. Like seeing the unique upgrade, gives him an extra charge of the heel. Gangbarang in a Goliath. RPF, concealment, and gun reload. Not looking for range there. The other 4 ships in the Rain lineup headed the other way. Kim's Yu Yang, that is a Smoke Yang, featuring a whole bunch of torpedo reload. Artorius's Jinan of his own, a very similar build to what we were just looking at Marcelo running on the top end of the map. Lucar's Annapolis, pretty typical there, top grade gunner, good stuff. And then Dastard in an incomparable bit of a survivability build there. Be curious to see how this all shakes out. We've got a 5-2 split here for TWA versus a 4-3 split for Rain.
Yep, let's go look at the map view. As we can see, there's already very aggressive movement from Rain, trying to get into that A cap as quickly as possible, get the points flipping before TWA is prepared. So they do get the cap, but they've sent 5 ships to A to secure that. Look at TWA going the other way around, putting 4 ships, and they're going to send 3 of them up the 7 line. We have not seen this before.
I'm curious to see how this is going to work out. We also don't generally see Janans making like aggressive pushes. Generally, you see them, we're going to set up to receive. We're going to smoke, pair up with a destroyer who's going to spot for me. They're going to have to sail into my deep water torpedoes and my quick firing guns. This Janan, not setting up that way for the moment. Now, the team here, the lighter units taking the inside track up the 7 line, but you can see the incomparable over here. He's going to have to swing wide to get into this fight. So he's going to be a little slower than the Annapolis and the Jinan are to get on station. I'm curious if they'll hold this push or not.
Honestly, I think the surprise is more important. So if they get up there and they do achieve surprise, then they're going to have to do that. Now, Mugu is using radio location. Kaistis is not in the Yoshino. Is the Annapolis. The Annapolis is not. Is Point. Point is not. The Brisbane's not. British is. So British's radio location is going to point to the south. The Goliath is pointing radio location towards the channel. You can see those single fire torpedoes towards the channel. He knows something's coming up the channel. But they don't know about Dastard making his way up. Because remember, Incomparable is also pretty darn stealthy.
A full stealth rig Incomparable, which I'm willing to bet you that's what Dastard is doing. Let's have a quick peek just to be sure it is stealthier than a Des Moines, Zath. It comes in, I think, I was going to say about 10.5 kilometers. Sounds about right. And yeah, that's pretty rough. Now we're going to see these torpedoes sneaking into the smoke. They should be spotted. They're going to be able to avoid them here. as the Annapolis fire starts to fall in on the Yoshino. The smoke there from Kim's Yang clearly indicating something's there. The incomparable unspotted, he's going to get this first salvo right up Omugu's stern for free, not even knowing he was there.
Yep. One shell connects.
Well, I was going to say absolutely nothing, but it wasn't absolutely nothing. It was just very little.
Just a reminder, you all, the players, have the ability to take a look at ship characteristics yourselves in battle. Hold the tab button down, mouse over whatever ship you want to see, and you can see their quote-unquote best, most efficient possibilities like concealment and that sort of thing. It does help quite a bit in random battles.
Now, having no radar over here, TWA is not able to kind of hold back this push or do anything to slow down this cap. So Kim's Yu Yang just continuing full speed, leaving a big long smoke screen, finishing the cap, backed up by the Annapolis and the Jinan, pushing the Yoshino out. The Brisbane and the Z-52 already coming back. Incomparable's guns speaking again here.
Kenny Mod radaring in the Annapolis. They want to know what's to the south. World Spawn caught out, is trying to get behind cover in the Z-52.
Oh no.
1900 HP.
He'd take a torpedo earlier or something, I have to wonder. Looks like he's going to barely sneak in here and make it.
He got smacked hard by Kenny. He's backing up. I think he'll be okay, but he's got to wait out the radar another 10 seconds, and then Kenny Mod's going to come right around the corner and just pulverize him anyway, I feel.
Lucar's Annapolis getting absolutely brutalized in that smoke as they're going to bag Kenny here for kill number 1. That puts Rain up a ship. Sorry, World up, thank you. Rain up a ship. Down a cap here. Still the early going. Only 6 minutes gone.
And it's actually TWA up a ship.
Thank you. My apologies.
It's okay.
I'm all over the place right now.
I made that mistake earlier today as well. Don't worry, it happens. Earlier this game even.
They're trying to keep this Yoshino spotted so they can farm him out. They need this kill.
Kim doing a great job of the Yang of saying basically there's no hiding place for you. And the Goliath, this is what you always do in a random battle. If you're ranked or whatnot, if you're kiting away from a side that's lost, go to a corner, try to drag as many people with you. That helps your team come back from that loss.
All of these torpedoes gonna flush Lucar and Artorias out of the smoke here, but they aren't gonna take any of these torpedoes. I gotta say, Seth, part of me is a little surprised to see Kenny Mod turn around and go back to A when CCAP has to be a little enticing. But I think he realizes his radar and his guns are more useful in collapsing the remainder of this flank here for Rain.
Absolutely. You have to secure the flank before you can then go and deal with the main stuff. If you take that one ship off, you don't have that decisive win. What TWA is trying to do right now is keep these 4 players from Rain bottled up. And they're doing a very nice job of that. And you only need 3... You only need like 3 ships to do that, so...
Gangbang trying to wind his way through this torpedo salvo without getting smacked, and he manages it. His hydro was up. He just had to find a line and get there. As now Intaro and Vile both sitting in the A-cap. Kenny comes around the corner. Well within radar range. His radar is 6 seconds away. Intaro's in real trouble here if he decides to pop that radar and his funny button. Intaro could find himself dead very, very quickly. The funny button may be coming with the AP.
Well, they've got Gangbang to focus on right now. They don't need to worry about another. Kenny Mod does take a big hit, though.
Goliath. Gangbang had the AP in the barrel as now Intaro and Vile getting into a bit of a gunfight.
There goes the radar from Kenny.
Yep.
And there goes Vile's hit point pool. Wow.
A little superfluous, perhaps, but it is what it is. Intaro now. I think is he gonna hold this line? No, he's gonna turn. He's gonna try to get some torpedoes on the Annapolis.
Speaking of torpedoes, Dastard takes out the Goliath in the corner with the torpedo. It is incomparable.
Wow, finally got there. They do bag Gangbang though, and that leaves a very, very, very lonely Intaro over here. The only Rain ship on this entire half of the map. Rain having a lead now on the strength of that cap advantage. But they're going to lose. That score's going to flip in a minute. Intaro will go out here momentarily. There's just, I mean, the best he can hope for will be to trade with Vile. He's going to try.
Yeah, but he's got to
sure
get
he's gonna be able to
there
pull it off, though.
to see him first.
Yeah, he can't even see Vile right now.
He's taking guess shots.
Nope, it's not going to happen. Lead flips back. It's now a 2-ship lead for TWA as that's points. Brisbane now headed to see all of the surviving Rain ships here in the northeast corner of the map.
How many times have we seen a ship go to the sea cap on this map? I'm going to go grab this cap. I mean, it makes sense now. But.
You know, it feels like I have to applaud Rain. That was a textbook push up the 7 and the 9 line. It worked brilliantly. They got done what they needed to get done. You know, but look what it cost them, right?
Oh, yeah.
The 3 ships at A basically not really accomplishing much other than, I mean, they cheaped away some health, basically. That's kind of about it.
So this is the thing that I think a lot of players don't understand is that in World of Warships, if you're trying to make a push on one side, you need to put down enough ships to defeat, I would say, the number +2. So in other words, if you're going up against 2 ships, ideally you want to have 4 engaged in that action. Now, when you're in a situation where there's only 7, then a smaller number of ships can hold a larger number of ships at bay, and that's what TWA did just there. And while that happened, they had 4 ships to the remaining 2 for Rain, and they just obliterated them.
Well, it was actually at one point it was 3v3, right? They rotated the Zed and the Brisbane back long before they had finished off Worldspawn.
Right.
And so it kind of fell apart in a bit of a hurry like that. Now, I'm talking like Rain is completely out of this game. They're not. It's only a 40-point game. A little bit of luck or a good salvo at the right time, they could potentially get back in this. You can see the incomparable Dastard running his speed boost, trying to get back south. But the reality is they're running out of time. They're about 70 seconds here from a loss. And at the moment, they have no vision. They can see nothing. They have no idea where the enemy team is.
And you can see that TWA knows all they have to do is like not be dumb.
Yeah.
So they're just staying back.
Don't get dumb.
Yep. So Lucar banging away with his radar just outside of catching British. Even has his Hydra going, so he doesn't take a random torpedo. But this game is over simply because TWA knows to just run away and give the ground, give the space.
They know just to not get spotted, and then it's all fine. Because the Incomparables guns could absolutely change the game in a single salvo if you give them the opportunity. But there's no way that TWA is going to make that mistake.
Which is why you see Vile smoking up Kinnymod right now.
100%. Radar coming up from Kinney, just speculative, want to know what he's up against just in case. Only 10 seconds left in the game, but why take the risk? In the end, it won't matter. TWA is going to claim gain 1.
Lucar guessing with his funny button. He came so close to actually hitting British, but even with this funny button, that wouldn't be a kill. British is full health.
Well, there we go. TWA doing something that I don't think they did earlier, which was taking a game off of Rain.
That is correct. This is the first time TWA has taken a game off of Rain at this stage of the tournament. I think they've met
in this
before.
Particular event. Yeah, I think so. I mean, clearly they have in other events, but I mean, in this particular event, I'm just going to go back and look here.
Well, on the first day, of course, they had their bracket group stage. They met each other.
Yeah.
Come on. Load up already. There we go.
Yeah,
so TWA took Rain down 2-0, and then in the grand finals, lost 1 game to Rain.
Okay. Okay. So actually,
day 1.
They went 2-0 on day 1, and then 2-1. So technically 4-1, and then in the playoffs, Rain 2-0'd them into the losers bracket.
That's correct.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
so,
game 1 in the books.
A whole lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of history here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and then hit that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Game 1 in the books. Let's get ready for game 2 as we head to look at Riposte.
Yeah, very interesting choice for the second map. Smaller maps should lead to some quicker battles and stuff. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna work on this too. At the start of a game on Riposte, we need to be very quick with the lineups because action starts super fast on this map.
Yeah, you noticed that, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've known it for a while, But yeah, it's definitely a thing.
So Rain has used the Annapolis twice now. They've used Novosibirsk
Okay.
once, Kandy once, and Vermont once.
Okay.
TWA has used a Vermont once and a Zorky once, and that's it.
And the Annapolis we just saw.
Correct.
Okay.
So that
So
might
a lot
be
more flagship options still open to them.
to both, right? So that was the last battle for Rain to use in Annapolis, but they do have other choices.
I'm going to step away for just a few seconds and go refill my water. Zath, I'll be right back.
Sounds like a plan. In the meantime, big thanks to everybody tuning in. Remember, this is a best of 5, so at the least, you will see 2 more battles covered by us. If TWA wins both of them, that's it for the tournament, and they win the money, they win the prize, and then they win the women. As far as Rain, they're not out. They can still win another game or 2 to force a game 5, which we all love to see. So I'm rooting for Rain just to force us to move to game 4 if they win in game 2 with Riposte. But we'll see what happens. We did not catch TWA and Rain playing at all of this tournament simply because we knew we would be here at the end. So, of course, no disrespect intended to either team by making that statement. It's more we wanted to cover a lot of the other games, a lot of the other players who have been involved in the tournaments, and that's something that's very important for us, is trying to go around and capture multiple different angles. A reminder, I'll say it again since Raptor is gone, if you have been trying to get your Warship Masters drop, if you haven't gotten it by now, you really need to make sure you've got progress going on that drop. If you do, you should be golden. If you don't, figure out what's not working correctly. Okay? You might need to relink your account to Wargaming. You could have another drop active from watching something else, maybe Warships Official, and you might be getting, do I still have this open? You may be getting progress on your mystery drop. If you're getting progress on your mystery drop, no, you don't want that. Close World of Warships Official and open up, just keep us up or close all of it for 5 minutes, bring one of us up, and get your drop for the WMI skin. The mystery drop you can always get later, tomorrow or Tuesday if Wargaming Official goes up, which they always do on Tuesdays, and quite frankly, it's a mystery drop, you're probably going to get nothing out of it anyway, or next to nothing, so it doesn't matter. To me, you want that camouflage. I'm going to be streaming after this event. Raptor, we'll find out in a little bit, but the idea is park yourself at least here, if not on Raptors as well. We'll be going afterwards, and as long as you've started progress on your drop, we tested this yesterday. If you started your progress on your drop during the time frame, as long as you leave that window open and don't refresh or close it or whatever, you can actually get that drop. We had somebody start yesterday, Raptor, at 45%, and they got their drop done. It was awesome.
During your after party thing?
During the after party stream, correct, yes.
Okay. Because you're right, because this is the thing about the way the drop scheduling works, is it's never clear to me if you have to watch during the window of the event, or if it's just certain channels are enabled for it for that 24-hour period, or what. It's never been clear.
So, the way it works is a certain number of channels, yes. There's also a time constraint. I can't look that up anymore because because I got that drop already. But if anybody is still in the process of grabbing that drop, no, I can. It goes until 1:59 p.m. our time. So it's currently 11 a.m. our time. So that's that's a very generous window. Okay,
that is actually.
So as long as you get that drop started, park yourself there. There's always no guarantee. It's never 100%. But what we found yesterday is it seemed to be pretty successful for people, and they were very appreciative that we were able to get them their drop. And remember, yesterday was just a commander. And what else? That paid actor flag.
Yep.
Today is much more important because it's that St. Vincent camo.
Yep. knowing that now, I say that right now I'm sort of leaning towards staying on at least a couple of hours after we get done. But let's see. Again, I want to make a judgment call and see how I'm feeling at the end, because I just if I'm like falling asleep in my chair, then I don't want to keep going, because it's not going to be fun for me or anybody else.
Well,
So,
and like you said, you've got a lot of
we'll
stuff
see how
you need to do before Ginger comes home, and I'm assuming you're going to
Yep.
pick her up at the airport. So
Yeah, her flight gets in at like 7, so I've got time, but it's
That's
like
not
I've
bad.
got to, I've got to get some laundry done, put some laundry away, and change the sheets on the bed, and clean up, empty and reload the dishwasher, and just chores that I've been lazy and have not done because I've been doing charity boats streaming. So yeah. Which is a good problem to have. I don't regret spending that time, but it means a couple other things that probably should have got done their week kind of got neglected. Wednesday night, when I kind of was originally planning to stream and said, no, I need to get this done, I had some furniture to assemble. We had ordered kind of this buffet thing to put in the den to kind of hold some of the extra booze. You remember in the kitchen, we've got that cabinet, it's got all her coffee in it. She bought a bunch of shelves and reorganized that, and there was still some bottles in there that was kind of like, I have the Garrison collection stored in one portion of the kitchen, and then the random extra bottles were stored in somewhere else. And she was like, I want to move these somewhere else. And I was like, oh, okay, where? So anyway, we did some digging. We bought a little more storage, a little more furniture. So I had to get
Very
that
nice.
assembled. So it was nice. Turn on the baseball game on the radio, just listen to that for an hour, and bust out the drill and assemble furniture. It wasn't hard.
awesome.
Had to get it done though. So
Yeah, in our house we got one large cabinet for all of the different wines that we like to drink, 'cause some of them are less expensive from Costco, some of them are like from our travels we bring home. The ones that are really special we have in a separate cabinet just to so we don't accidentally whatever.
Yep.
And then I've got my own cabinet for my stuff, for my dirty water. So
yep.
plenty of stuff involved there. Your hashtag.
Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Now remember that the teams that win, there is a prize pool up for grabs. Is basically $6,000 versus $1,800. That's what we're looking for right now. TSYMQ took home $1,400, and then fourth place went to them.
Yep. All of these teams winning, going home with cash right now. It's a question of how much cash.
Yeah.
What's the line? We're not doing it for the money. We're doing it for a whole shitload of money.
And then on top of that, of course, there's in-game goodies that that all these different teams get and stuff like that. So,
like they need it, I'm sure.
At this point, nah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for official to say go, and as soon as they say go, then we will go.
It's a fun crew to work with, but sometimes I think, they'll pull the replay but after every game and talk about it, right? And there are times I'm kind of like, do we really need to see it again? We just watched it and it wasn't that pretty. Like,
I mean, so there is some value out of like the game that we just cast.
absolutely.
Being able to do that and stuff like that can help, but it's tough to it's tough to just put that up and then talk about the same thing again of what you all just saw, because we're basically then repeating ourselves, and you guys don't need that, frankly.
The advantage of doing it the way that they typically do it over there, right, is you've got four, the staff of four, and somebody in my chat was commenting about this earlier, like 4 feels like too many people. Here's the thought process, and as someone who's done it, I like it this way. You have 4 people because you have 2 people who almost exclusively cast the in-game action. And then when there's no game, they get a small break. And then 2 people that cover the in-between time, they're doing what Mr. Conway used to call the monkey dance, right? To keeping the audience entertained, looking at replays, talking about drops, giving out codes, while the other guys and then when there's a game on, they get a break. and the guys calling the game. So 4 people is actually really good because everybody is a little time on, a little time off, a little time on, and it helps keep everybody fresh.
Yes.
But it also means that when the guys at the caster desk pull up the replay, they didn't call the game, they watched the game probably, but now they're kind of going through it again and talking about what they saw and what they thought versus what the guys who actually called the action did, and that's always a lot of fun to see the different viewpoints.
It is nice to see the different viewpoints, absolutely. It's also very nice to be able to walk away and take a break. I remember doing that as well.
That is key. I love being able to do that. It's a big benefit of working on a crew like that.
Yeah, we are right in front of you guys the whole time. Camera, lights going, all that kind of stuff. And you know what? We have a game to cast, so no breaks for us. Here we go.
Interesting. All right, well, let's check this out, Zaf. Let's head into game number 2.
On Riposte.
Yeah, TWA is still in the green. What do we got?
TWA bringing with them British in the Lucian. We've seen that build already. Striver in the Grozovoy. We also saw that build already. Vile in the Smoke Yu Yang. Saw that one. Kaitis now in a Wushta with a unique upgrade. So he gets the extra charge of consumables, and they also reload quicker on top of the other utility choices. So that's a very utility build. Wushta. Kitty Mod is in a Nevsky. Just the gun stuff. Point is in the Goliath with Outnumbered and Reload, and Marcelo Pello in the same Janon we saw earlier. What do we got to the south, Mr. Raptor?
In the red, Rain bringing a triple destroyer lineup of their own. We're looking at Antaro's Holland here, unique upgrade. We just saw him. Wolfsbone's Z42 gun reload, as you would expect on such a gun-heavy destroyer. And Kim's Yamagiri, a torpedo build Yamagiri here. With Swift and Silence, or Brisk, or whatever they call that skill in the destroyer tree, RPF, concealment, and all the torpedo reload. Backed up by, we've got Lucar's Edgar, outnumbered on that particular Edgar. Dastard's back in his incomparable. And Gang Barang in his Goliath. Looks fairly familiar. Also running outnumbered. Kind of hedging the bets there. And last but not least, Artorias in a Janon, same build as we saw in the preceding game.
Very interesting to see a Yamagiri. We've only caught a Yamagiri once before. Also worthy of note, 2 super ships on Team Rain, 0 super ships on Team TWA.
Trying to kind of pick out how I think these deployments are going, but what I think is actually going to happen... The Nevsky and Yang are going to move out here. The Janon's going to stay close. The Lucian's going to push A. These guys, the Wooster actually is probably going to set up right where he's at. I'm betting the Goliath swings out here while the Grozovoy tries to back in. Something like this is the way I think it's setting up for TWA. That's kind of how I'm reading this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the same thing. We've seen this before. Lucian is going to try to dive into A and grab it if he can. And you can see the Goliath is going to go off to the flank and just kite away as the Grozovoy grabs the C cap, and Wooster's in position to just keep radaring like crazy because he's got the unique upgrade and that sort of deal. From Rain's perspective, we're going to see the Yamagiri and Edgar work their way out to the flanks together, backed up by the Incomparable, so they're going to try to just smash whatever they come across. For right now, that's just the Goliath and maybe the Grozovoy. Very aggressive early maneuvering by the Holland. He's trying to get out and essentially get ahead of the Nevsky Yu Yang Death Snail that we were talking about TWA putting together. And they've got a Goliath of their own to start kiting away as necessary.
Early cap points sticking to TWA. Striver sticks his stern into C, flips it, backs out. The Kaistis' Worcester position is very strong. They've got very solid radar coverage on B and C, but they don't have nearly that coverage on A. They're relying on the Lucian's Hydro at A to pull that off right now.
Yep. So the Kaistis does have the ability to radar. There it goes. He was waiting a little bit. One of the things I like to do in random battles and ranked is you let somebody in the cap for longer. It entices them to stay, psychologically speaking. Now, World Spawn's not going to fall for that. But in random battles, people fall for that all the time, and you can absolutely do dirty things to destroyers, just waiting for them to get 75% through, and then saying, nah, you're going to die now.
Well, they've pushed World Spawn off the cap. Holland on the 2 line. Yamagiri on the 9 line. All the board control going to TWA here early, taking up 2 caps, 7 minutes on the timer. Rain's going to need to start bagging some kills or something. It's awkward.
Yeah. Gangvarang starting to get some early hits in from Kinnymod. He hadn't quite managed to make his turnout yet, so he took some AP. That hurts. Knowing that TWA is probably going to put the Wushta where they thought they would, and then, of course, the radar confirming it, basically says there's a big circle of nope, and I'm holding down the Alt key so y'all can see that red circle of nope because it's on cooldown. But basically, good luck getting anywhere within this range. And with Riposte being such a small map, that forces Rain to focus more on the flanks.
Well,
for now at least.
I like World Spawn's play. He abandoned B, knowing the radar's in cooldown. He's going to go to C and flip that because he's got more help at C if they decide they want to push. Plus, he denies those points to Rain, to TWA. So I like the play a lot. Speaking
of help, we've got the Edgar Lucar now being smoked up by Kimmy and Embittit, but radar banging away, trying to hit Striver's Grozovoy. So far, they're nope, they've changed to the Wooster now. As look at Marcelo Pello and Kaisis' Wooster just, yeah, we'll take this.
The Wooster is a far, far bigger threat to their game than anything else. So if they can kill the Wooster, now's the time.
Lucar's got his super heal.
Brought the Lucian into mid. That's British. He's going to come in and grab B. I don't think they can stop it now.
No. Kim, though, got detected in the Yamagiri, and we're about to see a dead super ship, I think. The murderous focus fire.
Did he have his gun?
I think he got too close to Striver. Striver stopped, and Striver's reversing.
Dark right now.
Yeah, Striver stopped and is reversing with engine boost down in his Grozovoy. So Kim Chevron he brake checked Kim.
Yeah, they're just fishing for Kim now because he does have a spotting advantage. Not much of one. Fired. They get the fire. Nope. Kim on 874 hit points.
Edgar takes a deep water torp on the bow. That hurts. Wooster radar up. Isn't going to find what he's looking for.
Probably not. He's going to catch a glimpse of World Spawn. They're going to be able to see Dastard moving towards the middle of the board. None of this should surprise them over much. It's a 200-point lead and ticking for TWA, but they're bleeding health here.
I'm a little surprised to see Dastard moving this way into the middle. It's a little early in the game to be moving mid right now because, I mean, well, you can see what's going to happen already in a few seconds. I understand they're trying to get Kaistis' Wushta out. So with him there, Kaistis can't pull forward or back up whatever to dodge, but Lucar's been forced back a lot already. I just don't see Lucar having a chance to really have an impact on the Wushta.
Incomparable salvo going in on the Lushun. Nothing doing. But now with Kaistis forced back, the incomparable Hydro has him locked up. The Edgar shells begin to fall in again. Edgar getting taken under fire. He's looking rough.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. It's just by the time Dastard's in position to really threaten Kaistis, the reason he's there, which is to help Lucar get shots, it doesn't matter because Lucar's going to go down. Lucar's
going out right here. Going to burn out. First blood going to TWA here, extending their lead to over 300 points. As Dastard camped in the middle of the board with Kaistis on less than 1,400 AP or HP, and nobody on Rain able to do anything about it.
That's right, exactly. And that's my point, right? That the whole idea is to back him up so that Rain can execute a kill with the other ship. But that other ship is gone now, thanks to Striver's brake check earlier and the murderous focus fire of, 4 TWA ships at once?
Yeah.
So Dastard's going to come in with the B cap at least, and that's going to get them the points. Arturius is Janan. I'm curious why he moved back the way he did, because he actually had shots raining down on the Wushta from long range. Dastard's going to say, you know what? I want this kill. He's going to block all his teammates' torpedoes. Ooh, 2 big kills.
Incomparable
2 big kills.
He torpedoed the Lucian.
3
big kills.
Big kills.
Goodness gracious. The
He torps the
Yamagiri
Lucian.
grabs the Grozavoy. That was unexpected.
Yeah, I'm
Dastard
sure that's exactly
punches-
what the Rose is saying, too.
Yeah, Dastard punches the Wusher in the face and torpedoes the Lucian.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Just like that, Rain up 2 ships.
Yeah, that might change, though. If you look at Gangbarang on the one line, forced to run. He's out of heals completely, and he's burning in 2 places, it looks like. There's the DCP. Another kill by Dastard, this time the Jinan.
Punches the Jinan out. Incomparable making its presence felt here in Game 2 after I won't call it a lackluster Game 1, but certainly not this impactful.
You know what's hilarious, Raptor? You and I have been casting this so much. I thought of that word as soon as you said "a" something. Like I thought lackluster too. And you're right. It's not a completely accurate statement, but
No.
this battle, Rain feels very different than what we saw in Game 1.
Calling Dastard's Game 1 lackluster is unfair because he did exactly what he was tasked to do. He charged up the 8 line, he murdered the cruiser, and then he got back into the fight. You know, so that's not fair to him. But this game is exceptional. Like he's on fire right now.
And what I love is I'm seeing the chat from 5 minutes ago. They're saying, "Where's Rain's ability to cap?" Well, hold on.
Well, points going down right here to Jinan torpedoes.
Oof! Brilliant torpedoes from Arturius.
They do bag the the Goliath way down in H1, but it feels like it's going to come too late. TWA down to their last 2 ships, and Rain owns the entire board.
So now the question is, there's the Uno reverse. Where is TWA's cap ability? What a change in just a few short minutes, Raptor.
If you bring the right battleship and put it in the right place, clearly good things can happen. We kind of questioned the move to mid from Dastard, but damned if it didn't work out, Zaf.
Oh, it worked out beautifully, and you see the glory that is just luck-chucking torpedoes with Rain coming up aces on 2 luck-chuck torpedoes, right? Dastard's going towards the Lucian, and of course the Amagiri, that's Kim Chae-won, with a very, very lucky torpedo salvo on the Grozavoy. Who, mind you, I love that brake check that World Spawn did. That was awesome.
Calling it luck is a little unfair, isn't it? Because he's running radio location.
Informed luck chucks.
Informed luck chuck. He's running radio location on a super ship with torpedo reload booster, right? So he's able to vomit out that veritable wall of skill, as we like to say, and make some of his own luck, for example. World Spawn putting up his radar as Vile basically says, you don't need to, I'm just going to let you know where I am, opening fire on Dastard's Incomparable.
Yeah.
Dastard with AP in the barrel, probably won't make that mistake for the second time. Game ends in 40 seconds anyway. Vile's just driving to the mid, he knows this is over.
Yeah, and he's actually turning broadside right here.
He's gonna take this. He's just gonna drive into them. Yeah, get it over as quickly as possible. Wipe it up. Get on to Game 3 as Rain takes Game 2.
Yeah. Giants in the playground, Raptor.
Unquestionably the MVP here of Game 2, though, Dastard's Incomparable.
I mean, hard to argue against 3 kills. But yeah, doing a fantastic job, just murderizing TWA. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake of letting Dastard play his game again.
All right, well, on to Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be seeing you on Sleeping Giant in just a moment. Head back to the training room here. Click that button. There we go.
Yep. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit my add button, get things taken care of that way as well.
Yeah. Let me do that here. Should be good to go, but if I run one every time there's not a game, then I don't ever have to worry about there potentially accidentally being one during a game. So that's something. See, this is the problem that I'm running into, right? We've got at least 2 more games, and I can tell that I'm already kind of starting to wind down a little bit. And I'm going, man, do I really want to go, 2 more hours after this is over? Can I even go 2 more hours after this is over? I don't know. It'd be a struggle. I might try it though, just to see if I can push through, get some time in, and then be done for the rest of the day.
Up to you.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to figure it out. It was a late night. I need a nap.
Oh, goodness. I still remember one time we were doing a wargaming official, and we were told we have a certain amount of time between. We weren't quite sure how long, but we knew it was gonna be like a half hour. Remember? So I pulled out my hammock. You went and laid back in your chair or whatever, and you're just like doing this and like.
Oh yeah!
Remember that?
That's when they took a screen cap of me, the jerks. I remember that.
I did actually.
Whatever. Yeah. So you were the jerk. You're always the jerk in my life. I'm used to that.
But and I took a picture of it too. Right, here's me hanging out in my hammock at the time. I think Stevie was still in his bed.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yep. So, but yeah, you guys. I mean, there are times when, and that was back when we were casting only, and then it went back to the desk, and
right.
Wargaming had to announce something as well, and so we knew it was going to be a longer.
We had like a half hour or something. So I just kind of did one of these numbers, like.
Yeah.
That feels pretty good. This was dangerous. This was a bad idea.
Go to sleep and good night.
Yeah, see, my chat's saying that this game's a throw. I disagree.
Not a throw.
I disagree. 100% no. I disagree
Not a throw.
completely. No. Throw means that you screwed up and like you made mistakes. I don't think TWA made mistakes. I think Rain reacted correctly. They also got a little lucky, let's be honest. The Yamagiri torps, I think, are solid. The Lushun, the torps that killed the Lushun, that is definitely a little bit of luck.
Absolutely.
You have to catch him when his hydro is down.
Yep.
And they're single fire, narrow spread torps, and he got them. Like, that's not easy, right?
No, and especially while you're in the middle of doing so many other things at the same time, to have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm not going to use these torps, I might as well just luck chuck them and see what happens. I mean, that harkens back to SAT score using widespread.
Yeah.
We call it the KOTS spread. When we're like, why is he widespreading with the Shimakaze? And because he widespreaded, he ended up killing, I think it was VOR at the end to clinch the tournament or whatever. So, I mean, these things happen in tournaments. A throw is more like the last King of the Sea, when there was a team that was about to be destroyed by Surya. It was AA7 on Land of Fire, and I mean they were up. It was like 5 ships to 2 or something ridiculous like that. They had the point lead and all that kind of stuff. They had a full health Republique, and I said, okay, now's the part where the throw maneuvers start to happen. So what needs to happen is the Republique needs to stay behind the island, and that's where he went. I'm like, okay, cool. He's being perfect. He's being smart. He's where he needs to go. And then it's almost as if he heard me say that and said, hold my beer. And out he came to go and try to save his teammate in the Stalingrad that was being shot at or something like that. The Stalingrad goes down to a torpedo. As he comes out, he takes gearing torpedoes full broadside and basically gets one-shotted from torpedoes. He goes down. One of the remaining destroyers goes to grab the other remaining cap at sea. And all that's left is this one Goliath that was told, just run away, we've got this. And suddenly, just trying to get back into the game as quickly as possible. And it was done. I mean, it's the greatest upset I have ever seen in King of the Sea. That is a throw, people. That is a throw. When you've easily got it, and that's it. To us, to the viewer, it might have looked like that. You might have thought, okay, well, TWA has the caps and stuff. Raptor and I have covered enough tournaments to know that cap control is only part of the equation that leads to a win. So, Yes, absolutely. I would agree, though, Raptor. Rain got lucky with those 2 torpedo hits that caused those deaths. But let's be real. TWA also got lucky, too, right? They were able to almost kill the Yamagiri with that brake check maneuver. And they completely wiped out the Edgar, too, and they saved their Wushta. So there's a little bit of luck in that, too.
I'll say like I said earlier, my chat's still kind of having this argument. I still, the torps of the Lushun, a little bit of luck there, right? You're torpedoing a Hydro Destroyer, which means you've got to catch him when his Hydro is either offline or he's napping or he's forgotten you have torpedoes, which is also possible. I don't know. But the Yamagiri, like I come back to, you play a Shima or a Yamagiri with that RPF specifically so you can go, well, there's a destroyer out there. Let's go fishing. And sometimes when you go fishing, you're going to catch fish, or the opponent's going to catch your fish, as the case may be. And so, like, that's explicitly why you build the ship in certain ways and position it in certain ways. Now, it still requires a little bit of luck, but again, I come back to, like I said in the game, you're making a little bit of your own luck by building and playing the ship in that fashion. Pure luck is, I have no idea where you are, and I just vomited torpedoes and hit you, right? In this instance, you're giving yourself a good, let's say above average opportunity to land those torpedoes based on information you're being provided by captain skills that you invested in. To me, that's not all luck at that point, right? You've taken that skill for a variety of reasons and are using it in a way that it is intended to be used.
And that's why radiolocation is a very powerful skill, and anytime I do my replay analysis, I almost always recommend that as a player skill. And I get a lot of people, Raptor, who come back and say, well, if the player's good enough, they don't need radiolocation. Okay, fine, whatever. You go play without your radiolocation, but Jesus.
So this is a conversation that I have in my regular, random streams all the time, okay? Because as an experienced destroyer player with a lot of games and a lot of years under my belt, in a random battle, I generally will not invest in radiolocation. There's a handful of ships that I will do it on, like Shimakaze and Yamagiri being examples, for exactly why you just saw.
Yeah.
But in general, I won't spend points on it. Now, in competitive, organized play, the rules are different, right?
Absolutely.
Radiolocation is something that you take on multiple ships in your team that can communicate with each other so that you're able to use the skill the way it would have been used historically to triangulate the approximate position of an opposing ship. You can go, well, my RPF is pointing here, and the cruiser 3 rows over goes, well, my RPF is pointing here. Now you have you probably know what grid square that destroyer is in. Does that tell you everything? No, but it gives you a pretty good idea.
Do you recall, I think it was the last KOTS, it was on my map, Faroe Islands. There was a time when people were shooting right next to a ship that was like low health, and it was a destroyer, it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And remember I point out, that's radiolocation shooting. That's literally 3 people with radiolocation clicking exactly on the minimap in a line, and them shooting at where all 3 of those lines connected. And they were within meters of killing that thing.
That's the power of that skill in coordinated play, clan battles, tournament play, whatever. In random battles, in my world, it's a completely different skill because it's probably just you. Your team's probably not communicating with you, right?
Yeah.
So it has. Is it a value? Yes, but it has a lower value threshold in a ship that you're going to play in random battles, and so that's why I tell people, if you're just gonna use solo derping around, I wouldn't invest in radiolocation once you've got enough skill and experience, you've played the game enough. You don't really need radiolocation to have a pretty good idea where the destroyers are in a random battle, right? But in clan battles, hell yeah, you go pick up that skill. You're doing a tremendous amount of work for your team with it.
Absolutely. Now, for me, in general, it comes down to: for like a cruiser, are you going to take top grade gunner, or are you going to grab radiolocation? And that's a really difficult decision to make. Do you want the DPM or do you want the knowledge? And I always say it comes down to how you play and how you use the information. I'm a priority target enjoyer. I almost always put priority target on my builds. It doesn't matter what the captain is. I want to know just about how effed I'm about to become, and that's important. And for different reasons. I did a a replay for Grunty lately of the Kiev, which, as you know, is my favorite. It's like my spirit animal ship, right? And I discussed how, for me, that is a troll counter. It's not priority target how many people are shooting at me. It's how many people am I trolling right now? Because the higher that number goes up, the bigger my troll face smile goes. Because if I've got that to say 4 on a team of 7, I've taken half of the team out of the game, and they're going after me. That's good information for me to know.
Yep,
but
100%.
You know, we have a game.
We do. Why don't we get into this game, and we can continue this conversation later, because I think it's a very, very good conversation to be having. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 3 of the Grand Final of Warship Masters Invitational 2024. We're still looking at TWA in the green on the north spawn. Zath, what are we bringing here?
So up on the north spawn, TWA has Marcelo Pello in his Yu Yang. That is a smoke Yu Yang this time. British is now in a Z52. Vile 9 is in a Yu Yang, also smoke Yu Yang. John the Ruthless. Now I saw him join the training room and I thought, uh-oh. He's in his Colbert, everybody.
Yep.
Watch out. TWA is bringing out the big guns in his full damage farming build. Look at that build. Yeah, okay. We will watch your career with great interest. Point in the Yoshino with the usual Torf stuff, and Kinimod, of course, in a Wushta. This time with reload in his setup there and outnumbered. And then Kaistus is in a unique upgrade Mosfa. TWA bringing 0 battleships this time around. Again, they don't need them. What do we have to the south, Raptor?
Well, Rain sticking with the battleship lineup. Dastard, the battleship enjoyer here, this time bringing a Cristoforo Colombo, which is a ship that we saw a different team take, I think, earlier in the event, Zath, on Warrior's Path, and I was quite surprised how effective it could be from a central position with those 360 turrets. We'll have to see how Dastard places it on the map. To his starboard side, we're looking at Arturius now in a Goliath, running outnumbered. He's going to be outnumbered on this flank, so he should probably get some use out of that. Paired up with Kim's Yu Yang, a little bit of dazzle, a little bit of torpedo reload. The rest of the team headed towards mid. That's double Regulo. It's a 4 destroyer lineup for Rain, by the way. We're looking at double Regulo in Taro. He's running reload and range. Range skill, but range reload mod in slot 6. Gangbarang doing the same thing. So both of these guys running the same exact build, not running full range. A little bit of range, but not all of it. On their right, on their starboard side, World Spawn Z42 also with a big gun build. So we're looking probably like a triple destroyer wolf pack here, Zach. That's what I'm seeing.
So this is a common tactic we will see on Sleeping Giant. You have a group, we call it the Destroyer Gang Squad, because what they're going to do is they're going to work their way to the middle, and they're going to try to surprise a single enemy destroyer that's making its way to the middle from the other side. Whatever they see, they will completely demolish. But look at that. TWA says, homie, don't play that, as they are smoking up John the Ruthless's Colbert with that Z52, and Vile's Yu Yang is ready to go with smoke if it's needed as well.
Every single one of Gangbarang's torpedoes went right into World Spawn's hull.
Whoops.
Now, Lucar's Brisbane working the inner track over here. It's the final ship we didn't talk about. Of course, he's got that big 12-kilometer radar. We're going to see if it comes into play here. John setting up his Colbert behind the edge of the smoke screen. Triple destroyers now got some torpedoes coming in. Z42 Hydro picking them up. There is the Brisbane radar going up, picking up John and British's Z52.
That's a very important radar to have, as Dastard was ready. He's got sap in the barrels coming into John's ship right now. Look at that. Some solid hits, absolutely.
I think John's reputation might be preceding him here, Zath. I'm just saying.
They know how important it is to get him off the board. The last thing they want is for him to farm 500,000 damage in a tournament.
No 500,000 damage farm for you on our watch, says Dastard. They're gonna push in Taro's Regulo stern into the A-cap, as that's British's Z52 tries to mirror the maneuver from the north end of the A-cap. But I think these guys are gonna get beat to it because World Spawn's about to join him in there. 10 seconds to cap. I don't think British is gonna get there in time to stop it.
No, I don't think so either.
Conga line torpedoes coming in from the Brisbane on British's position. Those are going to get spotted, of course, because of 52 Hydro.
Yeah, but I love it, though. It pushes him off. He knows he can't really just sit there.
Makes him move off the cap, dislodges him from that position for sure.
John the Ruthless opening up, just taking some guesses into A there. Coming up with nothing. But he's got Aben Yu as the captain, which is an interesting choice. Gives him the boosted survivability expert, but the Honore has the boosted adrenaline rush. So he's favoring survivability over DPM here.
Early points, early cap advantage going to Rain. Ticking up about a 20-30 point lead here. Plenty of time left on the clock. Still early days. As we're watching John and Kaistis and Vile swing very wide all the way over here on the 2 line. I have to wonder if the Moskva is going to turn into Thunderdome as his 12-kilometer radar goes up, looking for some positional information. They catch out World Spawn and Intaro's Regalo.
Yeah, no, that's a huge info radar there. It will help inform the decision. Do they go into the Thunderdome or not? I have a feeling we might see John go in there because he knows how to use cover, and he also knows how to back out of cover to shoot from pretty much anywhere from that Thunderdome. I don't think I'd put the Moskva in there, though.
No, I think putting the Moskva in there kind of locks him into a position that he may not particularly enjoy later, but that's actually what they're going to do. Kaistis turning into Thunderdome.
I see that. On the other side, Kinemod under Brizzy radar. Yoshino trying to come in with some good AP from point.
Now, if you notice, Zath, they brought Dastard's Colombo back out of center. He's now on the 7 line. Turret's looking, I think, to probably catch this Wusta.
Yep.
Gonna get a salvo downrange. And just barely avoid swinging his stern into a torpedo.
Kinemod hit the brakes.
Solid hit out of the SAP, though. Not catastrophic, but still a good hit.
Now you see, big hit on Lucar there. You'll see that Dastard put the plane up so that he'd have a tighter dispersion. Also, so he can continue trying to shoot at Kinemod when he's in the smoke. Here comes the next AP from the Yoshino.
Oh, Brisbane getting just punched out right there by the Yoshino AP.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yoshino's AP, I think, very underrated. Go ahead.
There's your 310 millimeter guns from that Yoshino, folded 1,000 times.
Folded 1,000 times. I was just about to say it. Well, down a ship now. Rain trying to make a play, make something happen. They are still up on points, but that's a situation that's not going to hold much longer. They're only about a 10-point lead, and the Moskva's about to flip A on them. That'll close the gap in seconds.
So he walked in, and actually John is now charging these 2 destroyers with Vile's Yu Yang in position to help.
It's a smart play.
And spot.
They still have the Regalo spotted because there comes the second Moskva radar. Gotta pick them up. They want to try and finish off one and or both of these destroyers with John while they have the opportunity. They're getting these shots for free.
Yep. Neither of these destroyers have smoke available anytime soon either. So it comes down to, is Vile going to just be able to keep them in range to shoot him? Yeah, I'm watching Intaro just bleed away.
Intaro's just getting absolutely hammered. He's finally out of the radar, but he's down under 1,000 HP with a fire burning. I think Intaro's going to burn out.
Yep, that fire got him spotted, and he's gone.
He's definitely going out now. Yeah, definitely going out now. 2-ship lead for TWA here in Game 3. Dastard about to take some torpedoes south of the B cap. Big Z-52 torpedo salvo down to 230 hit points.
And now down to 0.
And now down to 0. Looks all over but the crying here, Zath, as they lose the Yang. That's Kim over on the 10 line as well.
Yep.
Well, TWA holds mightily here in Game 3.
Yeah, TWA coming back swinging hard. And Kinemod, worth noting, is dead. I was gonna say he managed to save a ship, and right as I said that, I saw the shots coming in. I'm like, uh-oh.
Arturius does manage to bag the kill there as he slides right through the torpedoes and puts an AP salvo downrange at points Yoshino for some good hits.
I have a feeling Point is gonna respond in kind.
Return the favor here in a moment. I have to believe that.
Here it comes.
Not as good as it could have been, or as bad as it could have been.
Arturius knew that was coming, so that's why he reversed his turn back. And the problem, though, is that I was just going to say, you can't angle to both. So
nope, can't be everywhere at once.
All right, you want to watch the Z-42 melt away? Take a look to the south. 20 seconds, world spawn stopping. He knows it's over.
Oh, yeah, there's no point in him dragging this out.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop?
Of a Z-42
3.
Apparently, the answer is 4 salvos.
1, 2, 3.
3,
Crunch.
and there it is. Crunch. Squish, as we say in Warships.
Yes.
All right. Game number 3 going to TWA. 1 game away from a win here in Warship Masters Invitational. I almost said international. I keep wanting to say international. Invitational.
Well, it is an international tournament, but yes.
It is an international tournament, but that's not the actual title. It is invitational.
Right.
All right. Well, let's come back to that screen. There we go. In the middle of all that, my chat was reminding me, they were like, I was like, I'm going to need food. And they were like, well, that's what DoorDash was for. And I was like, I didn't think of that. Over the years, I have watched other streamers literally sit at their computer and have food brought to them while they stream. I have never done it. I think today might be the day, Zath.
I caught a streamer doing that once, just while I was scouting for Stack Up, and she was literally like ordering from like Taco Bell or something. And she's like talking about what she's gonna order, and like chat like was like telling her what to order and stuff, and it was just really weird. I'm just like, this is a thing?
I don't think I'm gonna do that. But like several of the Hell Let Loose streamers that I have followed and watched and been a part of their communities over the years take advantage of this, right? They get into an 8, 10, 12-hour stream of playing Hell Let Loose, and somewhere along the way they got to get food, and so they go to DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever. And I'm like, that feels like a pretty good idea today. But I'm going to obviously wait until we get a little closer to knowing this is going to be over, and then I'll put it over. I don't want to be trying to interrupt the tournament with me going downstairs to answer the doorbell. Ding dong in the middle of the game, like, oh crap, I'm screwed now. Like I'm not doing that. But it's a smart idea, right?
Have you you're familiar with the Battlefield games, right? Like Battlefield 3.
I'm familiar with them. Okay. I have not actually played any of them since Battlefield 1942.
There's a really good YouTube series out called Battlefield Friends that's worth your time.
I have heard of it. I have been recommended by you or other people, but people have mentioned it to me. Yes.
So they have different characters, that personify different types of people you run into in the game, right? One of those characters is the Colonel 100. The Colonel 100, that's the highest rank that you can get in the game. It means you played a long time. And so he's going around, he's knifing people, just killing people left and right, and just what looks like magic, right? Is basically a super unicum in our in World of Warships.
In Warships,
and these guys are watching, and they're like, he comes back, he's like, I just grabbed the base. What did you guys do? And like they're like, oh well, we just kind of spawned in, sir. And there's a part where somebody goes, sir, can you tell us how do you get to be a Colonel 100? And he's like. He says something like, like, you going to the bathroom? He's like, yeah. He's like, no, bathroom means less time, means less battlefield, means less score. Get a shit bucket. And like literally, that's what he says. That's what he does. You getting sex? Well, yeah. No. Sex equals minus kills equals bad. No sex. He just goes on and on and on. It's a fabulous series. It's well worth the watch if you get a chance.
That makes me think of the old South Park World of Warcraft episode,
yes.
right? Where like Cartman is in there, like in the basement, like pissing into buckets or pissing into bottles or whatever. Same idea. Right?
Same exact thing.
Same mockery, right? Mm-hmm. That's I gotta go look this up now. That'd be entertaining.
It's great. It's a whole series. You just put it on. I think there's at least like one supercut. You just put the whole thing on, just lay back and relax. It's laughs after laughs after laughs. It's very well worth it. Battlefield Friends. That's what you're looking for.
God, I'm sitting here. I made the mistakes out of opening up the DoorDash website.
Oh, no.
So now I'm presented with all of this food, and my stomach is going, oh yeah, and my brain's like, no, dude, you got to turn them into cash. You got to put that away for a minute.
I'll have that. I'll have that. I'll have that.
Seriously,
Can I get 5 of that, please?
And I had the most ridiculous odyssey last night. Right, I got done. I was on the northeast side of town last night, and we finished up around 11:30.
Okay.
And it's a minimum 45-minute drive if I just go straight back to the house. But because of the way things worked out, I didn't get dinner. And I'm starving. And I'm like, I want food. And when it's midnight in Texas and you want food, you go to Whataburger because they never close. And the dining rooms are always open. And I'm the kind of guy that I don't want to sit in a drive-through line in my car, twiddling my thumbs. I just want to get up, walk in, talk to a human, order my food, go sit down at a table, and eat. So I know there's at least a couple of these along my route home, but one of them is still without power from the bad weather we had a few days ago. So my most obvious choice that I would have stopped at, couldn't go to, closed, no power still. Crap. Well, there's one not far from there that's a little bit out of the way, but not horribly out of the way. I'll go there. So I pull up to it. It's 12, it's like midnight. It's like 5 minutes after midnight now. I walk up to the door. The lights are all on, big line in the drive-thru. They're open. Sign on the door, dining room closed. And I'm like, really? Really? The other sign on the door says dining room open all day, open 24 hours. I'm like, really? Fine. So I get back and I'm like, I'm not sitting through that ridiculous drive-thru line. I get back in the car and I'm like, you know what? There's one at this intersection that's on the way home. Drive, another 15, 20 minutes down the road. That one, same problem. Big long line in the drive-thru, get out of the car, walk up, dining room closed. I'm like, really? You're open, you have electricity, dining room's closed. Fine. Get back in the car. I'm like, all right. There's one it's less than 10 minutes away. It's not that far out of the way back to the house. It's now 12:30, 12:40 in the morning. I'm like, I'll make this. If they don't have any, if I can't get in there and walk into this dining room, I'm just going home. I'm done. I'll just go home and find something in the fridge. I'll have a sandwich out of the fridge or whatever.
Sure. Okay.
Drive over there. Blessedly, these guys are open and the dining room is open.
Okay,
Perfect.
nice.
I pull into a parking lot. I get up. I walk in. I wait a few minutes. I order my food. I sit down. Now, it's now about 1 o'clock in the morning, right? And it's a Saturday night. I'm right across the street from one of the junior colleges. And some of these areas around where I am still don't have power from that big thunderstorm that rolled through on Thursday. So some folks are here because they just want to be here and they want to get out of the house. They want some air conditioning. The place is covered up with like 20-something college kids, high school seniors, whatever. And they are loud and obnoxious. And I'm just sitting there waiting for my food. The place is covered up. I have to wait 15 minutes to get my food. And by the time I get my food, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to sit in here. I just take my food, go get in my car, and drive back to the house. I'm just like
kids.
It was like screaming curses at each other. Right? We're in a public restaurant, and these guys are screaming obscenities at each other at the top of their lungs. And I'm going, is this how it is now? Like, what happened? What happened in the world that this is a thing? I don't understand.
Yeah, that feels very weird.
It was nobody in the restaurant said anything. The staff didn't, staff just let it go. I'm just going, okay, you know what? This is cool. It's fine. It's your establishment. You set the rules, but I don't have to be here. So I got my food. I left. I came home. I ate at the piece of my dining room table, and then I crashed, and it was stupid o'clock in the morning. But it was like this whole odyssey, just trying to get a hot meal at a weird hour. I almost went to the Waffle House. There's a Waffle House not far up the road from us as well. That, of course, because it's Waffle House, doesn't ever close. And I was like, I almost did that. But man, I probably should have.
Jeez. I mean, I remember, I think it was my first time in Austin. You and Ginger met me when we did whichever tournament it was that we did the first time. And it was like 2 a.m. when we were done with them.
Old King of the Sea, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2 a.m. when we were done, and you two were like, we're hungry. All right, well, whatever. And then you're like, we're gonna go to Whataburger. So when you started that story, I knew immediately you were gonna go to Whataburger. Absolutely.
Look, if you live in Texas and it's the middle of the night and you want hot food, you go to Whataburger. Like, that's just the way it is. It's the same way that if you live in the Southeast, like you live in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and you want hot food, it's the middle of the night, you go to Waffle House, right? They never close. You go to Waffle House, you have breakfast or you have a hamburger or whatever, right? And that's just the way it is. I learned that in college, right? When I was in college, I think I've told you this story. You know, I'm on the island. I'm all the way down on the coast. The big gaming store that we would come to was all the way on the northwest side of Houston. It was about an hour and 20-minute drive from the dorm to the place that we would game. And every Friday night, we would make that drive into town. We would wait for rush hour to end, of course. And we would drive up here. We'd get here about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And we would game until close. Closing was 2 a.m. They would close up, throw everybody out, and now it's 2 a.m. and I got to drive basically an hour and 15 minutes back to the island. Again, it's the middle of the night. There's nobody on the road. So I'm driving. We get back to the island. It's now almost 3:30 in the morning. You're hungry, right? You're 22 or whatever, 21. You're in college. You haven't eaten. You haven't had a meal in 6-7 hours. You're hungry. Where do you go? You go to the Whataburger on 61st Street. It's never closed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. And they take plastic, and it's, you know, it's 1998 or whatever, and it's like, it's time to go get some foods. That's what we did. We did that all the time.
We never had anything open 24/7 by us growing up.
That's
never.
crazy. That's
Never
crazy.
And I've actually...
Go
ahead. No, you go.
I was like, in college, the two things on the island that never closed and got tons of traffic from the college kids were the Whataburger and the IHOP. There was an IHOP on the seawall that never closed. And at finals time, that IHOP was packed no matter the time of day.
Wow. So I'm going to make a confession here. I've actually never been to a Waffle House either because I don't go to the South that often. I've never really been to that region. The only thing in Waffle House I know is that now famous viral video of the employee catching the chair. Like I don't know anything else about Waffle House but that. So
sometime you come back down or we meet up again, I'm gonna take you to one because it is and what I like to do, I like to go and you sit up at the bar at a Waffle House. You don't sit at a table, sit at the bar where you can watch the cooks work. It is a dance of beauty, Zath, a ballet of breakfast. It is beautiful to watch these guys manage short order, cook with the bacon and the eggs and the grits and the toast. And it is like, these guys are killing it. And it is not easy what they do, but it's fun to watch.
Awesome. I'll have to keep that in mind.
Well, we've been talking about food in restaurants. There's almost a game ready. They're readied up. I'm sure we're back to waiting on the official stream here.
Are you going to type in the hashtag again? I was about to say that because I was tabbing into the game to take a look at what's going on. So, yeah. But I got to say, it's great. You know, so far we haven't had any training room crashes because of the spectators. So 40 slots.
It's been nice, hasn't it?
Yeah. It seems like over the past few years, Wargaming threw a little bit more sticks of RAM into their server box. So, and I got to say, I think the decision to swap over to the NA server from EU seems to be working out well for them too.
Yep. Yeah, I've been very happy with NA's been very stable. We haven't had too many problems, knock on wood. It's been technically, from a technical execution standpoint, it's been a really solid day for this tournament, Zath. It's been nice to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
you know, the refs always do a fantastic job of keeping everybody, you know, in position and informed about what's going on and why things are happening and stuff. So look at you over there smiling away. What's so funny?
Oh, Chad is mentioning, they're like, hot water and noodles, and I'm like, I should have bought some ramen.
Oh, that would be easy to do.
You know? And especially, like, you know, if you're in the UK or if you're in Europe, really, anywhere that's got 220-volt power, the little electric kettle is a rock star, right? Because that'll make tea, it'll make soup, it'll make, you know, noodle bowls, whatever. It's super easy. Here in the States, we only got 120. It's a little bit longer process to use the electric kettle.
Yep, I've got my I've got leftover pizza ready to go. My characteristic tournament day leftover pizza for lunch. So whenever
deep dish, there you go.
Whenever I just ask the wife, it will arrive. So that will help.
Well, speaking of, guys, let's head to game 3 here. It is time for us to check out Tears of the Desert. TWA up 2-1. Rain in the green. Let's have a look. Game 4 begins. Rain fielding a 3-destroyer, 4-cruiser lineup. Getting away from the battleship for a change. We're looking at World Spawns Kleber. This is a unique upgrade, Kleber, Zath. Most commonly, we see this used as kind of the trapdoor spider, potentially, in a possible assassin squad. We'll have to see how they decide to deploy World Spawn there. Kim's Yu Yang, Radar Dazzle. No, Smoke and Dazzle. Interesting.
Yep.
Intaro's Daring. Haven't seen much Daring this event. Daring, a very, well, I won't say very expensive, but tends to be fairly pricey destroyer. Double Janan. There's Artorias, same build we've been seeing. And there's Dastard in the Janan, slightly different build, running the torpedo skill instead of heavy HE. Gangbarang in a Nevsky, outnumbered. Of course, he's radar because he's a Nevsky. And Lucar in a Goliath, all the reload and none of the range. What is TWA doing bottom end of the map, Zath?
Spawning to the south wing. Red this time is TWA. We've got Striver in his Grozovoy. We've seen that build already. Kaistis and a Wushta. Same, actually no, he dropped the unique upgrade. He's gone back to reload. We saw him, that was the Wushta in the one game they lost so far on Riposte. Point is in that Yoshino again, got great mileage out of it last game, so
Absolutely.
I'm sure he's looking forward to doing that again. British is heading towards the B cap in the Attilo Regolo with range and everything like that. Vile 9 is in torpedo build Yu Yang with also smoke. IKEA is in a Howden Lu. Our first time seeing TWA taking a Howden Lu today with unique upgrade, all the Dutch ovening stuff. And then behind them is Kinemod in an Annapolis now. So TWA fielding a super ship this game. Or a flagship, I mean. And a super ship.
It's curious to me, Zath, look how many points Rain has sunk into their destroyer lineup. Like, that is a high-octane destroyer lineup with this point schedule. And in order to field that, they have had to go, quote-unquote, cheap out with the Janans.
Yep. So we've got that early cap by World Spawn with the unique upgrade. That's what you get that for. Radar detecting it, though, from Kaisers' Wushta. Remember, 6-second delay. He can just W out. He got the cap, and that was his goal. So there you go. That's why you take that unique upgrade. Beyond that, you're absolutely right. We're going to see... I always tell people that playing destroyers wins games, like, you know, more so than cruiser or battleship. So this might be an interesting test to see. Was all that point spend justified?
Well, they're going to have to get... Like, again, I mean, you spent over half your points on three destroyers. So you damn well better get some use out of them. And not only the Daring, of the three, only the Daring has a heal. You know, that might be able to weather some damage and have a little longevity to it.
Meanwhile, on the other flank, we've got the TWA bringing 4 ships up the 910 line. So I think their plan was always to kind of hold over at A, but they didn't get to the cap quickly enough to stop that point gain. Could put them at a disadvantage.
This is going to be a brutal push for Entaro and Lucar to resist. They're actually already bringing Dastard back. He's going to be here set to receive as well. I don't think that TWA is going to be able to break back into the A cap. I mean, it might happen with a little bit of luck if they can grab a torpedo somewhere. Yeah. A lucky torpedo, but otherwise I don't see it happening. The best that Kaistis and Shriver can do is probably to hold the Rain forces in position, keep them tied up here, so they're not able to return south and deal with this this push that is inevitably coming.
Single fire torpedoes almost hit IKEA's hull.
Almost, yep. Just coming up short. He doesn't even have his hydro running, and these deep waters are going to miss him too.
Yep. Now, World Spawn in the Kleber is rotating back. Now, his job was complete. He got the A cap. And what you're seeing over on the A side for Rain is your typical Death Snail, just that smoke and then shoot and radar and blah, blah, blah. So you're going to see torpedoes just go fishing. It's just going to come down to luck and RNG over there.
Yeah, the game's really going to come down to what happens over here around the C cap, how it unfolds, how it resolves. They were able to flex the Clever back over here. That's good. They need the extra set of eyes, the extra guns, the extra torpedoes in this fight at sea.
Look at British using his fuel smoke for Kinney mod. He's able to shoot himself, and Kinney's able to advance and keep shooting too.
When you
Really
see
cool
this
to
kind
see.
of coordination in competitive plays, it is a thing of beauty, right?
Yes.
Kinney mod able to continue to fire on the move and getting it for free because he's just tied at the hip to this Italian fuel smoke that lasts almost 50 seconds, if I recall correctly.
Vile torpedo? Nope. That was close.
Yep, they're going to drive Kinney right up to the edge of the C cap, basically almost undetected until right there at the very end, popping his radar, picking up Intaro and World Spawn.
And look at that timing too. As that one smoke ends, he's in the next already. So that is absolutely brilliant play over there.
Beautiful coordination. Now, what's happening, the reason he's spotted in here is because Intaro, I think, is close enough to pick him up through his smoke firing penalty.
Mm-hmm.
12 more seconds of radar. Trying to get as much damage in Taro as they can while they can see him. Here comes the funny button. Might put him out if he lands enough of these shells.
Just
very
misses.
close.
That's okay.
Very close.
And Taro's on a daring. He's got to heal. It'll rub off.
Yeah, they'll buff that right out. Kinney is going to take a deep water torpedo right here.
Oof. Big hit.
Big hit. About half his remaining HP. Both teams sticking up one cap. C cap locked down. Both teams participating in its contest, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
About 150-point lead here for Rain in Game 4. At the moment, it's all on World Spawn, who's now spotted by the Howden Neo on the surface. Liber torpedoes pushing through the Regulo smoke, but nothing doing. They're going to push Spawn out of this cap. Lit on the surface by Viles Yang, trying to stay ahead of it here, trying to break the LOS. Finally manages it.
Mm-hmm. There's the cap for TWA.
This use of chain smoke is absolutely brilliant, Zath. It's fun to watch.
Oh, I'm enjoying watching it as well. And you can see Striver is actually maneuvered into a position. He can back into the A cap and just grab it.
He can. It's going to probably draw the radar from Gang, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Very sneaky, very clever for him to approach it from that angle.
Absolutely.
Well,
Ooh, torpedo hit on Vile.
Ooh, they got one of the Kleber torps into him, I think.
Yes. Now, of course, unique upgrade for Kleber. Your concealment is better at the expense of your gun reload. Taro on radar again.
Yep, Kinney putting up the radar, catching in Taro, but he's going to drive right out of it very quickly.
Yeah, but Kinney can still get his guns turned, and he unloads. Doesn't do enough.
Takes a little bit of ship damage, but nothing catastrophic for a ship only on 4,000 HP.
Mm-hmm.
Under 100-point lead now for Rain. They've surrendered the C cap. Points still falling. Neither team having lost a ship quite yet. Gangbearing's starting to get pretty low up here, though, Zath.
Mm-hmm.
Death Snail seems to have moved on without him.
Well, I think they're trying to get this Wooster out, so you have to get two ships in two different positions, but you don't have smoke for both, so...
Yeah, that's the struggle here. He's got 2 more heals left, but he's got to make it 5 more seconds. I think he's going to make it.
World Spawn opening up now.
Trying to chip in. Yep, yeah. I like this play. Get an extra set of guns on this guy. Try and punch him out. Grozovoy smoke not quite available. Now coming available if they want to try and smoke the Wushta. 40-point lead and falling
Keistis on triple fire right now. 4 fires for another 10 seconds. That's a spicy meatball.
They do lose sight of Gang as he gets another heal off here. Just barely keeping his ship in the game. Boy, man, look how much damage they pushed into that Wushta in a real hurry.
Yeah, I've been watching that. Dutch Oven's coming down on World Spawn's Kleber position. This is do or die for Rain.
Speaking of World Spawn, they put him up. They caught him up. They caught him briefly on the Worcester radar. He's going to take a little more damage here for his trouble. They do catch the Yu Yang on the surface as well.
Yes.
Oh, big Goliath hit on Kim.
Yes, but Kim does get 2 really important deep water torpedoes on the Oshino on point.
Well,
but the Jinan is detected too now.
He's sailing into Grozavoy torpedoes here.
This is a very bad...
going out. Oh, big hits from the Worcester. That flips the lead. Got to see if they can... They're fishing for the Worcester. Deep water torpedoes going in on the Worcester.
They're going to hit him.
There he goes. Annapolis taking down the Goliath at sea. Ship starting to fall here. 100-point lead and growing for TWA.
Yep.
Could be a decisive game 4 for them.
I saw Lucar. Oh, go back over to the... Look at point. Look at point. Look at point. That's going to be a trade as well.
Okay,
at this
probably
point,
the best they could have hoped for there.
Yeah, not good for Rain, but, I mean, it's better than losing a ship for free.
Yeah.
And TWA...
Bastard driving into the sea cap, trying to make a play happen here.
Well, I was going to say, I saw Lucar doing that earlier with the Goliath, and I was thinking to myself, that's not good.
He was trying to smoke right on the edge of the cap, but of course that just draws out Kinney's radar.
Everybody opening up on Vile, who's just recently detected at 3,000 hit points.
He's dark, trying to sneak out of there. I think when Dastard goes down, there's going to be seconds left in this game. It's going to happen right here.
Yep.
20 seconds on the timer. Rain needs a kill. I don't know where they're going to get it.
I don't either.
Vile would have been the most likely candidate, but they lost sight of him. And there it is. Wow. Very back and forth game, but the TWA push around the 8-9 line works. They hold on, and they win the series 3-1.
Yeah. Great to at least get to a game 4. It's not a sweep. We always like seeing that. I got to say, it's interesting. All of the points went into the destroyers. Look at who's left alive for Rain. It's the most expensive ships. The Nevsky, the Daring, and the Kleber.
Yep.
So they got mileage out of those ships. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get as much out of the other ones as they were hoping for.
Yep, absolutely. Well, a solid game from both teams, but TWA walking away with a win and the tournament win here. They are the victors here in Warship Masters Invitational 2024.
That's correct. They are the king of the Warship Masters.
King of the Warship Masters. King of the, not the seas. Can't say that. Got to call it something else.
No, that's right. That's right. I still remember when we had that one season. We said, "I can't believe it's not KOTS."
Can't believe it's not KOTS. That was the Warship Spring Championship back in 2022.
Right.
I can't believe it's not KOTS. Exactly.